What is up, gang? Welcome back to part 2 of selling my Pokemon card collection to buy a house. This month was definitely a lot slower. We did some trades more so than selling stuff, and to be honest, most of it was not Pokemon. I know that is a little clickbaity. My collection is not just 100% Pokemon. However, I did move some big ticket items, so that's basically what we're going to talk about today. But first, something I didn't really touch upon in the first video is setting us up with a goal in mind on where I want to be to, start the process of buying a house. So setting myself on that path. If the house is the end goal, what is the first step there? That would be to put a 20% down payment. So how do I raise that 20% down payment? Well, I'm looking at roughly needing to sell $80,000 to $100,000 for this 20% payment. That is going to be our first step completed. And to be honest, we're nowhere near there yet. This month was very, very rough. Not a whole lot of sales. That could be because A, I went on vacation, B, there's a summer slowdown going on, and C, I didn't post it in local groups. Again, I'm not really trying to sell like high ticket items on my website, nor am I really trying to sell sealed cases on my website. Once things get over $1,000, that's not really something I want to sell on the website, just because scams are all over the place right now. As we've known, if you're in the Pokemon hobby, you've seen all the videos going around. Even DJ just got scammed for like $2,500 on a Evolving Skies booster box. So yeah, I'm not willing to risk that. And if that means I don't get a sale, I don't get a sale. I'd rather deal with the time-wasting idiots on Facebook, which I've had a ton. I've had so many deals lined up, and people either ghost me or they go, oh, something else came up, or I price out, over 5 figures worth of stuff, and they go, oh, I'll give you 80%. Buddy, I'm not selling 80% for premium items. Neither should anybody else. Fusion Strike sealed case, not selling that for 80%. Paldean Fates, opened ETB case, you have 10 ETBs in there, I'm not selling that for 80%. Like, not a snowman's chance in hell. It's not happening. So even when I wrote, do not offer me 80%, it's not happening, people still offer 80% and just want to waste your time. So, whatever. Anyway, I wasn't willing to deal with that this month. So maybe in July, I'll start trying to post local ads again, stuff like that. I'll post more stuff up for sale on Marketplace, because right now I haven't really been putting stuff up on Marketplace. So anyway, to get to what I traded and sold, I'm going to put a picture here because obviously I don't have them anymore. I sold it was like a partial trade. A few of these 1976 NFL Cello boxes. One was not factory sealed, but it was authenticated, wrapped by BBCE, and the other two were not. They actually stopped doing those wraps sometime this year. I didn't know that until I reached out to one of my local card shops, Oak City Sports Cards. Great guys there. And he's who got my other one wrapped, and he had told me that they shut down for the meantime, and he was actually interested in doing this transaction. So I ended up doing a partial trade. The dollar amount I will not disclose in case, Uncle Sam or somebody else is watching that, I don't want them to know. But we also got this in a trade, if I can get no glare on it. This is the Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions. This is a PSA 10. I think we ended up on I ended up giving him full trade value on it. So it was like 5,700, something like that. And now the card has appreciated to like 7,100. So I'm definitely trying to sell that, but I may just end up consigning it and getting, I think, 97% from like DCS or Arizona. So yeah, unless you're going to offer me full market price, I'm probably just going to hold on to it. And to be honest, the price might go up more. Like, this genuinely might be a $10,000 card next year. Prismatic rotates out in April 2027, I believe. And if they start actually printing something other than Prismatic, all we got is all we got. So I could see that card definitely skyrocketing. The gem rate's really low. Population, wouldn't say is super low, but because you have that low gem rate and it's such an expensive card, it's actually more expensive than the Evolving Skies Umbreon, which surprised me when I looked it up, but it's true, it is. Anyway, so I did that transaction, which was huge. Definitely helped the coffers for the house fund. Now I'm not going to disclose that in the total bank account or anything like that. So just know there's a number that is not included in all of this. I posted this on my Instagram, and it is now a saved highlight. So if you're curious about that deal, that transaction, you can go to my Instagram and take a look at that. It's saved as my highlight just because it's a very large deal. Helps prove that I'm a reputable dealer. Helps prove that, not that Oak City needs that, but, whatever. It helps us both. And I also traded a one-piece booster box. This is the OP01 reprint box. It has the white bottom instead of the blue bottom. The blue bottom is the original print, which is like $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 a box. This OP01 is roughly $1,500 to $1,700. And I also traded some double boxes, I guess. I don't know. They're like the double pack boxes, whatever they are. I'm not a one-piece guy. It's just stuff I had. So I traded those for some singles. You might have seen those already. One was this Rayquaza, which I had already sold, which essentially covers the cost of the booster box. The other three singles I still have. So if you're interested in the Gengar, the Kabutops, or the Ampharis, join the Discord, hit my line. We'll make a deal. But I just do still have those three cards. I think that was a very good trade for both of us. Both of us were very happy. He made money on the trade, and I made money on the trade. So, it's a win-win for all of us. I do believe I sold that Rayquaza way too cheap. It is something like a Pop 7 and a PSA 10. Unfortunately, it was a PSA 9, but the PSA 9 is like a Pop 300. It's an XY Black Star promo. Lowest listed on eBay was like $11,000, which is unrealistic when the last sold was 14. I got a little bit more than 14. Clearly did not get 11,000. Obviously, with a new Rayquaza set coming out and the bull market that is going on, I think that card probably is going to double by this time next year. It's probably going to be a $3,000 card. It just needs another sale or two. And to be fair, the guy that bought it probably thinks the same thing. He didn't even haggle on the price. And I told him, I said, if you haggled with me on the price, even $1, I probably wasn't going to sell it to you. Because to be frank, I wanted to just keep it because I figured it was going to double. But knowing my goals, knowing what I want, I need to sell that and put that money to work and help me buy a house, essentially. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I sold that, got the cash for that, got those other three cards essentially for free. My mind goes, hey, I can keep those cards now. Pretty cool to have that Kabutops first edition holo, but got to move on to that. That Gengar, I think, will appreciate in value as well. Another Black Star promo, hard to grade, but it's a PSA 7. It's still considered a near mint card, but PSA 7s are definitely not as sought after as a PSA 8 or a PSA 9 or a PSA 10 of those XY era cards, those XY promos, especially the Black Star promos. Everybody goes crazy over Black Star promos, myself included. They're usually just better artworks. If you look at this Gengar and this Rayquaza, the art just feels different. They just pop. It's just a nice card. So yeah, I like both of them. I wish I could have kept them both, but the Gengar is up for sale still. And when it sells, I'll be sad, but I know the money is going to a good place. And again, my mind goes to, hey, now I can keep all these cards because I basically got them for free. That's the collector in me, just because, I trade for cards that I would be okay with being stuck with, essentially. In that reality, I'm okay if they don't sell, but I do still need to sell them. I also sold a Black Bolt White Flare poster collection for $40 from the stash, so I got $40. I did not keep track of what else I sold, but I sold about another $800 of my collection. Again, pretty much a down month for everything all around. Hopefully I can sell, a little bit more than 1,000 this month in July. I'm hoping I can get close to, like 3,000 to 5,000. That would be sweet. And, in reality, I could just sell a case or two and I'm right there. So that would be great. I also made a little bit of tweaks. I made a separate bank account for the Pokemon Buys Me a House fund. So I have that separated now, so it's a lot easier to keep track of. That way I don't accidentally spend the money like I did previously. I spent some of the money to go on vacation and some of the money to buy some Pokemon cards. So I'm a little bit behind still trying to keep that up. So after starting in March, we're now 4 months in, and the Pokemon collection, Pokemon Buying Me a House fund is at $13,700. This is 4 months in, and that's because of our large month in May that did over $7,000. This month we did right about $2,400. That includes the sale of the Rayquaza. That includes the like 800 some odd miscellaneous things and the Black Bolt White Flare poster collection that I oddly noted, but I didn't note the other like $800. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, so not bad for 4 months deep. And to be honest, my collector app has still gone up, and I still need to add more stuff to the app because obviously I'm still buying, Chaos Rising came out, I bought PCTBs, I bought a booster box, and then Pitch Black is coming out. Unfortunately, missed the drop, didn't get anything on either drop, so I personally collect the PCTBs. I'm going to try to trade a Chaos Rising for a Pitch Black. If not, I'll probably just have to bite the bullet, go out and buy it. I can't imagine it's going to be super expensive. I can't imagine it's more expensive than the Greninja set. So, if I just wait a little bit, maybe I can get it for like $150, $140, because I overpaid on the Chaos Rising ones. I paid something like $180 to $185 or something like that. And that's for the store, that's not for the collection. Thankfully, I was able to hit the ones that go in my collection at MSRP. Obviously, 4 months deep to be over $13,000. That is huge. I can't even do that with my own business. So, yeah, I mean, I'm honestly appalled that I was able to do that. And honestly, it's not all me. Somebody has to agree to the transaction, and the Fusion Strike month really helped me. I will also note that this excludes that big partial trade with the Umbreon for the sports cards. So, that's never going to be totaled into this. So, sorry to hear that, but maybe at the end I'll total it all together and people will be like, oh, maybe, people will probably forget about it type of deal, something like that. But yeah, we're at 13 grand, 4 months deep. There's still a lot to go. As we mentioned earlier, that goal of $80,000 to $100,000. Pretty much all I got for you guys. I was able to make this a longer video, which is why it's a long form video and not a short. I would reckon in the future, some of these may be shorts because, if I didn't do that big trade, if I didn't do those 2 big trades technically, this really would have just been a short, especially because I was horrible at noting what I actually sold. So I can't really make a video if I don't have, the details. Anyway, if you guys want to support me, shop my website, maxpacks.com. There's a link in the description of the video. If you want to buy some of my collection, join the Discord. That is going to be the easiest way to do so. And shoot me a message. The Discord's free 99. You don't have to pay a penny, literally nothing. It's free to join, and you can chit chat with me. You can chit chat with some of the other cool people in there. I'll see y'all next month on our next Pokemon Buys Me a House video, or you can just tune into whatever I post the next day. I mean, I post all the time. This is Max Packs signing out.